Icebergs are a type of image in which you can put information from most well-known to the most obscure facts, theories, and speculation. I always wanted to create one for my favorite franchise, Captain Tsubasa. So without further ado, let's get into the iceberg. Captain Tsubasa is a manga created by Yoichi Takahashi which narrates the history of Osura Tsubasa, a boy who really likes football and the golden generation surrounding him. This manga began publishing in 1981 up to 2024, being one of the longest running manga in history with a total of 112 volumes, and also being one of the best-selling manga in history with over 90 million copies in circulation. This manga is divided in 7 different mangas. The original Captain Tsubasa, which contains the Kid's Dream, Boys Fight, and Junior Youth arcs, then World Youth, Road to 2002, Golden 23, In Calcio, and La Liga and Rising Sun. Although the manga ended serializing, the history continues in storyboard form called Captain Tsubasa Rising Sun Finals, and also in graphic novel form in the video game Captain Tsubasa Dream Team called Captain Tsubasa Next Dream. Captain Tsubasa has had a total of 5 main animes. The first one began in 1983 by Tsushida Production, running for 128 episodes, covering the first 2 arcs of the story. Then a series of 13 OVAs continuing the story was released called Shin Captain Tsubasa, covering the Junior Youth arc made by Studio Anime. Then, in 1994, a reboot was released called Captain Tsubasa J by Studio Comet. It ran for 47 episodes covering Kid's Dream and the first part of World Youth. And then another reboot was released in 2001 called Captain Tsubasa Road to 2002 by the studios Group Tag and Madhouse, running for 52 episodes covering all of the manga up to that point, although in a really fast-paced way. And then yet another reboot was released called Captain Tsubasa 2018, having 2 seasons. The first one covering Kid's Dream and Boys Fight, up to 52 episodes made by David Production, and then the second one covering Junior Youth, up to 39 episodes made by Studio Kai. Captain Tsubasa has had plenty of video games. At first they were developed by Tecmo like Captain Tsubasa 2 Super Striker, then Konami like Aratanaru Densetsu Jousho, Killab like Captain Tsubasa Dream Team, and Bandai Namco like Rise of New Champions, and also some other companies with other games. Some of these games are turn-based RPGs and some are just an arcade-type football game, although most of these games never left Japan. Captain Tsubasa has had a total of 5 movies. The first 4, made by Tsushida Production, follow the story of an alternative Japan feeling some kind of all-star teams. The first 2 of these movies, called Europa Daikeisen and Ayaushi Sen Nippon Junior, are against an European all-star team. Then another movie that's pretty much a recap from the series, called Asuni Mukate Hashire, and then another movie where Japan faces an American and South American all-star team called Sekai Daikeisen Junior World Cup. It should be clear that all of these movies are not canon. There is also an additional movie by the JC staff called Saikyo no Teki Hollanda Youth, in which they adapt the Holland Youth one-shot. Captain Tsubasa has plenty of merchandise and goods, some official, some unofficial, ranging from shirts, hats, clocks, plushies, figures, football jerseys, etc. There have also been a lot of official collaborations with companies like Adidas, and even real-life clubs like Hamburg SV or Bayern Munich. The Captain Tsubasa anime has had plenty of names all over the world. In Europe, it was called Oliver and Benji or Oliver and Tom in France, where for example Tsubasa was called Oliver Atom, Kenzo was called Benji or Thomas Price, and Hugo was called Mark Lenders. In the Latin Spanish dub called Supercampeones, most of these European names were kept, but some had the originals in mind like Steve Hyuga or Tom Misaki. Also, in this dub there are names based on the voice actors like Richard Textes based on Ricardo Tejedo. There's also the Arabic dub called Captain Majid, where for example Tsubasa was called Majid and Hyuga was called Basam. And there's also the Brazilian Portuguese dub, which they respect the characters' surnames, like Oliver Tsubasa, Carlos Misaki, and Benji Wakabayashi. There are many more names for the series, characters, and even the teams. In more recent years, since the video games Captain Tsubasa Gekito no Kiseki, Captain Tsubasa Dream Team, and the 2018 anime, the names of pretty much everything has been standardized to the original Japanese ones. Some of the characters in Captain Tsubasa are based on real-life players, like Juan Diaz based on Diego Armando Maradona or Karl-Heinz Schneider based on Karl-Heinz Rummenigge. There are also a lot of characters in Road to 2002 that are strictly based on real-life players with similar names, like Ribaul being based on Rivaldo. There are also theories that Tsubasa is based on Diego Armando Maradona for his playstyle, and Kazuyoshi Miura and Musashi Mizushima for their career in Brazilian football. During the 2016 Olympics ending ceremony, there was a video presenting the next Olympics in Tokyo. In this video, Captain Tsubasa appears twice. One of these apparitions is Tsubasa and Misaki doing a twin shot, and the other one is Tsubasa doing an overhead kick. Captain Tsubasa has inspired many generations of players, not only in Japan, but also all over the world. For example, Zinedine Zidane, Andrés Iniesta, Kylian Mbappé, Alessandro Del Piero, and even Lionel Messi. This is pretty much a meme in the Captain Tsubasa community. It began with the 1983 anime having the characters running for a long period of time with some flashbacks in between. All of this so that they don't catch up with the manga, making it seem that the film is longer than it should. In fact, someone calculated how long the pitches are in the 1983 anime, and the result was 18 kilometers. This was the first World Cup that Yoichi Takahashi has seen, where he fell in love with the sport, being pretty much the main inspiration for creating Captain Tsubasa. There is also the Sub-19 World Cup held coincidentally in Japan in 1979, where, in his words, the performance of Maradona and the Argentinian team inspired him to create the manga. The ending of the Road to 2002 anime was a supposed World Cup final between Japan and Brazil, where the episode ends at the kickoff, leaving the rest of the match left for interpretation. Many people thought that this was the ending of the series, but that's obviously not the case, as the manga continued and this World Cup match was completely fabricated for the anime, thus meaning it's not canon. There are 9 Captain Tsubasa bronze statues located in Yotsugi, Katsushika, Tokyo, the birthplace of Yoichi Takahashi. These statues are Tsubasa Ozora, Tsubasa performing a twin shot, Tsubasa and Roberto, Tsubasa performing a heel lift, Taro Misaki, Kenzo Wakabayashi, Sanae Nakazawa, Kojiro Hyuga, and Ryo Ishizaki. In 2018, the Yotsugi train station, the same town with the statues, was remodeled to promote the 2018 anime, including various pictures from the series. This station was also recently remodeled in 2023 for the second season of the anime. There's also a train station in Saitama that has a beautiful stained glass of the manga characters. There have been a lot of tifos and banners referencing Captain Tsubasa, not only in the J-League but all over the world. For example, in Paris Saint-Germain, Deportivo Pereira, and even the World Cup in 2018. Nankatsu Sport Club is a Japanese football club based in Katsushika, Tokyo. They currently play in the Kanto Soccer League Division 1, which is Japan's 5th division, part of the regional leagues. The club was originally called Tokiwa Club, but as soon as Yoichi Takahashi became the president, the club was renamed to Nankatsu SC in allusion to the team of the same name from the manga. There have been some characters officially registered in some clubs in collaboration with Captain Tsubasa. For example, Matsuyama is in Consadole Sapporo, Izui is on FC Tokyo, Kojiro Hyuga is in Juventus, and Tsubasa Osora is in Barcelona. There have been countless of people trying to do Captain Tsubasa techniques. Some of these techniques can be performed in real life, such as the drive shot or the kamisori shot, while others like the twin shot and the kickback cannon are a lot more complicated to pull off. But some J-League players actually dedicated a video performing all of the techniques already mentioned, which you are seeing right now. Pachinkos are mechanical games originating in Japan that are used as an arcade game and much more frequently for gambling. There have been 3 Captain Tsubasa Pachinkos developed by Sansei that are mainly well known for having really beautiful 3D animations. The first one is based on the Boys Fight and Junior Youth arc, the second one is Rising Sun, and the last one is Japan vs an all-star team. As a fun fact, there's also one pachinko that has a 2D outro, although the studio that produced said animation is unknown. Yuto Nagatomo, a real-life player, appeared in a 2019 special to promote the 2020 Tokyo Olympics. In this special, Nagatomo is playing with Tsubasa and company against an alternative Brazil. As a fun fact, in this special we can see Kira as the coach, which is an ode to the Rising Sun arc. There have been countless of art exhibitions regarding Captain Tsubasa, in which you can see the art that Takahashi makes for the manga. There are also some reproductions of things like Wakabayashi's hat, Kira's black ball, Matsuyama's hachimaki, Sanae's flag, football jerseys, Misaki's farewell ball, etc. There are many Captain Tsubasa characters who have a special physical trait, like Nita's Fang, missing in the 1983 anime, Muller's car, missing in the 2018 anime, Cal's toothpick, Chito and Hyuga with roll-up sleeves, though this is illegal in real football, Aoi's untucked shirt, Ino's piercing, etc. There have been various special mangas about Captain Tsubasa mainly to promote some events. There are some that are canon like Wish for Peace in Hiroshima and some that are not canon. Most of these special mangas tell a story about Japan facing an all-star international team, or an Argentina led by Maradona, or even a manga about Barcelona against Júbilo Iwata. There's also a special manga called Endless Dream, telling the story of Tsubasa shortly after the elementary school tournament, where they organize a match to cheer him up because of Roberto's departure. Although the canonicity of this one is still debated, because Misaki makes an apparition and that will cause problems in the timeline. There's also the special manga called Captain Tsubasa Memories that tell the story before the beginning of the manga. There was a theory regarding Morisaki's elementary school team, which at the time wasn't confirmed that he was a Chutetsu. This theory gains more credibility in the animes where Morisaki doesn't appear as a substitute keeper for Wakabayashi. Because of this, many people theorize that Morisaki is from Yamabuki School with Kishida, mainly because they played together at Shimizu Sepulse. But this was reconfirmed in the manga Captain Tsubasa Memories, which confirms that Morisaki is 100% from Shutetsu. Being a factor for the development of football in Japan, Captain Tsubasa is an obvious choice for sports brand advertisement, like Kirin Nuda. a sports drink, and even Adidas where they promote the real Japanese team. Captain Tsubasa even had a commercial for Toyota, promoting the Toyota Tobira. There are a lot of pieces of media that inspired Takahashi to become a manga artist, such as works from the legendary Osamu Tezuka, the manga Kyojin no Hoshi, the manga Ashita no Joe, the manga Dokaben, etc. There exists a Captain Tsubasa cafe located in Yokohama, Japan, where you can order things like the Nankatsu sandwich, the Tsubasa, Misaki or Wakabayashi burger, and some other things. You can see the menu although it's kinda blurry. There exists a pilot manga of Captain Tsubasa with the same name released in 1980, a year before its official serialization. This one-shot tells the story of Taro Tsubasa, a boy that, unlike the Tsubasa we all know, is not actually a prodigy in football, and struggles facing his main rival, star keeper Kenzo Wakabayashi. As you can tell, the manga has a lot of difference from the main one, like Osura Tsubasa being called Taro Tsubasa or Wakabayashi and Tsubasa being in a love triangle for a girl named Yaki Yamasaki.